Wherever you are tonight, maybe beneath a quiet sky beside a window humming softly with wind, let your mind begin to drift. Out beyond this moment, past the clouds, the moon and the thin blue breath of Earth, the solar system waits in silence. Each world moves in calm perfection, the sun glowing at its center, the planets turning in patient rhythm, bound by gravity's unseen hand. For billions of years, they have danced through darkness and light, shaping the story of time itself. If this little journey brought you peace, leave a soft hello in the comments and share where your sky begins. Tonight we'll wander among them through rings of ice and oceans hidden beneath frozen shells, across red deserts and storms of blue fire, and into the stillness where sunlight fades into forever. There's no rush here, no noise, only the slow breathing of the cosmos. As you listen, let the weight of the day fall away. Feel the quiet gravity that holds the planets, the same force that holds you gently in place. If you enjoy drifting through stories like this, where science becomes serenity and wonder becomes peace, feel free to stay a while. The universe moves slowly, and so can you. Before there were planets, before the glittering orbits of moons or the whisper of comets, there was only dust. Endless, floating dust, warmed by an infant Sunday. The solar system began not with sound or motion, but with light finding its first direction. The sun, our star, ignited from the quiet collapse of a vast cloud of gas and dust drawn together by gravity's patient hand. From this slow cosmic inhale came fusion, the burning of hydrogen into helium. The same process that continues today, fueling the warmth that touches your skin each morning. Deep within its glowing heart, the sun fuses hundreds of millions of tons of hydrogen, every second releasing energy that has sustained the planets for over 4.5 billion years. That energy travels outward through dense layers of plasma, bouncing and scattering for thousands of centuries before escaping as light. By the time it reaches the edge of space, it has softened no longer the fierce birth heat of creation, but a gentle glow capable of nurturing oceans, winds and forests on a small blue world far away. Each photon that leaves the sun takes just over 8 minutes to reach Earth. 8 minutes to cross 93 million miles of emptiness, carrying the memory of the beginning. If you could stand upon the sun, though no surface truly exists, there you would see a world of constant motion. Vast arcs of plasma leap thousands of miles high, curling and snapping in magnetic storms that twist like ribbons of fire. The surface, known as the photosphere, is not still but boiling a field of bright granules, each one larger than the entire state of Texas, appearing and fading in minutes. Above it, the corona stretches outward in ghostly loops, hotter than the layers below, glowing at millions of degrees Fahrenheit. Astronomers still ponder this mystery. How can the outermost atmosphere of the sun be so much hotter than its surface? It is a question that hums quietly in every image of that shining halo. To study the sun is to listen to its music. Scientists measure the waves that ripple across its surface, oscillations so vast that they could swallow entire planets. This field of study, known as helioseismology, allows us to hear the sun's hidden interior. These vibrations are its heartbeat, echoing through the plasma, giving clues to its temperature, density, and magnetic rhythm. Like the pulse of a living being, the sun's energy surges and calms in 11-year cycles, a pattern as steady as breathing. During its active years, it releases solar flares and coronal mass ejections, eruptions that fling charged particles across the solar system. When these waves reach Earth, they shimmer as auroras, painting the night sky in veils of green and violet light. But for all its fire, the sun is not a destroyer. It is balance incarnate, the giver of life, the steady center around which all else drifts. Every planet, every moon, every wandering rock and grain of dust is bound by its pull. Its gravity keeps the solar system in motion, a silent dance, choreographed by warmth and attraction. Without it, there would be no rhythm, no orbit, no time. It is gravity that shapes the planet's paths, gravity that turns falling dust into swirling worlds. And in the faint glow of its light, life itself learned to breathe. The sunlight we see is ancient and patient. Each beam that touches your hand began its journey in the sun's core over 100,000 years ago. It wandered through layers of gas, bumping endlessly between atoms until it finally broke free. Then, crossing the void at the speed of light, it fell upon oceans, forests, mountains, and eyes. Every sunrise is an arrival, centuries in the making. Every flicker of warmth is a message from the past, whispering, "You are part of something vast, and it knows your name." For all its brilliance, the sun is not eternal. In another 5 billion years, it will exhaust the hydrogen in its core, swelling into a red giant, its light growing cooler and redder. It will cast off its outer layers, leaving behind a white dwarf, a small, dense ember, glowing faintly in the darkness. But that end is not to be feared. Even the sun's death will be a gentle one, a transformation rather than a collapse. The material it releases will drift through the galaxy, seeding the clouds that one day may form new stars, new worlds, new beginnings. Energy like memory is never truly lost. It only changes form. Yet here and now the sun remains young and vibrant. Its warmth sustains the delicate balance of water on Earth, the green glow of plants, the gentle cycle of day and night. Every heartbeat on our planet is timed to its steady glow. Even the smallest insects live by its rhythm, waking with its rise, resting with its fall. The sun is not just a star, it is the silent metronome of all life. If you could see the solar system from above, you would notice how every planet, no matter how distant, moves in rhythm with the sun's pull. Mercury rushes close in dizzying speed. Venus glides with heavy grace. Earth spins in calm harmony, and Neptune drifts slow and cold at the far edge of light. Each of them balances between gravity's embrace and motion's escape, a perfect dance of tension and release. The sun's energy keeps that balance steady, ensuring that worlds neither fall inward nor drift away. The sun's light is not uniform. It changes color depending on temperature and scattering. Through a prism, its white glow splits into every color of the rainbow, the spectrum of creation itself. These colors, invisible to the eye, when combined, tell scientists the elements within the sun: hydrogen, helium, traces of iron, carbon, and oxygen, the same ingredients found in our own bodies. The iron in your blood was forged in the core of a star like this one. The carbon in every breath, the calcium in every bone, once burned in a stellar furnace. In this way, the sun is not distant. It lives within you as much as you live within its light. Sometimes, at the edges of space, satellites capture images of solar storms, unfurling like luminous petals, great arcs of plasma reaching hundreds of thousands of miles outward. These storms, though violent in scale, are delicate in form, curving like silk under invisible forces. They remind us that even in chaos there is order, even in fire there is grace. The universe, vast and unknowable, still follows quiet rules, patterns of beauty written into every flicker of light. To gaze upon the sun is to see both the past and the future, the eternal and the momentary. It burns with the same energy that once shaped the planets, yet each day it changes slightly subtly with every pulse. Astronomers say that if you could compress all the sun's energy output into a single second, it would be enough to power human civilization for millions of years. But the sun gives freely, in moderation, allowing time to unfold slowly, gently, like a sunrise, spreading across the edge of space. And as the light of the sun drifts outward past Mercury's scorched horizon beyond Venus's golden clouds and toward the quiet cradle of Earth, it carries with it the memory of beginnings. Every planet, every moon, every shadow in our solar system is a reflection of that first light, transformed in its own way. The sun does not command, it offers. Its warmth invites motion. Its gravity invites harmony, and its silence invites thought. So take a breath now, slow and steady, and imagine yourself floating in that golden glow, weightless quiet at peace. Around you, the solar system spins every orbit, tracing its story back to this single shining heart. The sun hums softly through the vacuum, its song vibrating through light years of space. It does not rush. It does not rest. It simply continues, as it always has, as it always will. And somewhere within that endless rhythm of fire and stillness, your own breath joins the same pattern, another small motion in a grand, eternal dance. Far beyond the warmth of Earth, past the red plains of Mars and the cold breath of Jupiter's clouds, there lies a world that glows like a jewel in the dim sunlight. Saturn, the Lord of the Rings, turns slowly in its orbit, wrapped in bands of pale gold and icy silver. It is a planet so serene that even its storms seem to move in slow motion, churning softly under a yellow sky. To look upon Saturn is to glimpse a kind of cosmic grace, a balance between beauty and impermanence, silence and time. Saturn is immense, a gas giant more than 700 times the size of Earth, though so light it could float if there were an ocean large enough to hold it. It spins quickly once every 10.5 hours, giving it a gentle bulge around the equator. The clouds that circle its atmosphere form bands of soft color, streaked with hints of beige and honey, layered with storms that drift like ghostly whirlpools. Deep below, metallic hydrogen swirls around a small rocky core, generating a magnetic field that hums across space. Saturn is not a planet of solidity, but of motion, a planet built from gas pressure and rhythm. But what makes Saturn unforgettable are its rings' wide, thin, luminous arcs that stretch hundreds of thousands of miles from its surface. They are delicate beyond imagination, thinner than a sheet of paper if scaled to their span. Composed mostly of ice with traces of rock and dust, the rings catch the light of the distant sun and scatter it like diamonds suspended in the dark. Through a telescope, they shimmer with quiet precision, a structure both impossibly grand and heartbreakingly fragile. The rings are divided into bands, the A, B, and C, rings separated by faint gaps carved by Saturn's moons. These small worlds, known as shepherd moons, keep the rings in place through their gravitational tug, like careful caretakers, guiding a celestial river. One such moon, Encke, dances within a gap that bears its name, sweeping debris aside with each orbit. Another Pan travels through the Encke division like a guardian of the void, keeping the rings' edges sharp. Yet, for all their elegance, the rings are temporary. They are not eternal ornaments, but fleeting structures in the life of the planet. Scientists have discovered that Saturn's rings are raining away, particle by particle, falling through the planet's atmosphere in a soft, invisible storm. This ring rain was first confirmed through data from NASA's Cassini spacecraft, which spent 13 years circling the planet. It revealed that tiny charged ice particles, drawn by Saturn's magnetic field, spiral down into its clouds at astonishing speed. In time, this rain will erase the rings entirely. It is a beautiful tragedy, a reminder that even the most magnificent things in the universe fade. Within 100 million years, the rings may be gone dissolved into the gas and wind from which they came. For now they endure gliding in quiet perfection, reflecting sunlight in slow arcs across space. To watch them is to witness the universe in a rare, fleeting moment of grace, the cosmic equivalent of a sunset frozen in time. Cassini, that patient traveler from Earth, saw it all. As it orbited Saturn, it sent back images of storms, swirling like ivory spirals of shadow, and light crossing the rings like ripples of time. It flew between the rings and the planet itself, passing through a region no spacecraft had dared enter. In its final mission, Cassini dove into Saturn's atmosphere, burning up as it fell, a final graceful gesture of discovery and devotion. Even in its end, it mirrored Saturn's story beauty descending into silence. Saturn's atmosphere is not empty. Beneath the calm exterior, fierce winds circle the planet, reaching over 1,000 miles per hour near the equator. But even these storms seem to move with elegance, weaving intricate patterns that shift and fade without chaos. Near the North Pole, an enormous storm forms a near-perfect hexagon, a six-sided jet stream spanning more than 20,000 miles across. Its geometry is astonishing, as though the planet itself has chosen order over turmoil. The deeper one looks, the more Saturn reveals layers of serenity. Its moons, over 80 in total, orbit like a family, each unique, each carrying part of its story. Titan, the largest, is shrouded in a thick orange haze, hiding rivers and lakes of methane that mirror the behavior of water on Earth. Enceladus, small and bright, shoots geysers of icy vapor from beneath its surface, hints of a hidden ocean that may cradle the conditions for life. These moons, together with the rings, form a system within a system, a miniature solar neighborhood orbiting a single world of gas and light. And yet all of it depends on balance. The same gravity that keeps the moons in orbit also tears at them, pulling ice from their surfaces to feed the rings, only to reclaim it later. It is a quiet cycle, creation and decay intertwined in one continuous act. The beauty of Saturn is not only in its appearance, but in its rhythm. Everything gives, everything returns. If you could drift close to Saturn, the rings would not look solid. They would appear as countless grains of ice, each spinning independently, separated by miles of space. They vary in size, from tiny dust particles to boulders the size of houses. And as they move, they collide softly, creating faint whispers of sound, a frozen choir that never stops singing. NASA once translated the electromagnetic waves around Saturn into audio. The result was haunting: a soft hiss, a hum-like breathing, an echo of the rings themselves. Listening to it feels like hearing time move. From a distance, Saturn glows with reflected light, pale yellow, serene, timeless. Its faint shadows stretch across the rings, marking the slow passage of its 30-year orbit around the Sun. 1 year on Saturn equals nearly 3 decades on Earth. Seasons change slowly there, unfolding over human lifetimes. It is a place where time itself seems to move differently, unhurried, patient, eternal. Every world in the solar system tells a story about change, but Saturn's is one of acceptance. It does not resist time's pull, it moves with it. Its rings fall, its moons evolve, its clouds drift endlessly, and yet it remains steady, luminous, calm. Perhaps that is what makes it so beautiful. It reminds us that transience can be peaceful, that even in decay there is poetry. When you look at images of Saturn, you are seeing balance made visible. The gravitational tug of its moons, the sculpting of its rings, the silence of its distance. Its radiance is not the brightness of chaos, but the glow of equilibrium. In the vast theater of the cosmos, Saturn plays its part quietly, never demanding attention, never breaking the rhythm of its orbit. Somewhere out there now, Saturn continues its turn. The sunlight touches the rings, the ice glints softly, and the rain begins to fall again, invisible, endless, delicate. The same light that once left the sun's core now glides across those shimmering bands, scattering outward toward the dark, toward us. It is a reminder that beauty, even when fleeting, leaves a lasting trace. So when you next gaze at the night sky, remember that above you, Saturn spins silent, luminous, patient, a masterpiece of gravity and grace. A reminder that the universe, in all its vastness, still finds moments to pause, to shimmer, to breathe. Beyond the golden rings of Saturn, past the quiet drift of Jupiter's vast storms, a smaller world glows faintly in the cold sunlight. A world painted in rust and dust, ancient as time itself. Mars, the red planet, drifts in lonely silence, its deserts whispering stories from billions of years ago. From afar it looks dry, and still a frozen ember among brighter flames. But every grain of sand there carries the memory of movement of rivers that once flowed, of air that once sang. Mars is roughly half the size of Earth, but its landscapes are colossal beyond comparison. Stretching for nearly 2,500 miles, Valles Marineris is a canyon so vast that it would stretch from New York to Los Angeles. Its cliffs rise over 4 miles high, plunging into shadowed valleys carved by time and ancient forces. Scientists believe it formed when the Martian crust cracked as the planet cooled, a slow, silent fracture that split the land apart like an open scar of geology. In its depths, the air grows thinner still, and dust settles like fine ash from a forgotten fire. Far to the west rises Olympus Mons, the tallest volcano in the entire solar system. It stands nearly 14 miles high, almost 3 times taller than Mount Everest. A mountain so large that it could cover the entire state of Arizona. Its slopes are gentle, spreading across hundreds of miles, formed by lava flows that once moved like slow rivers of rock. Today it sleeps under a thin orange sky, its summit brushing the edge of space. For billions of years, Olympus Mons has stood alone, a monument to patience and time. The surface of Mars is a landscape of extremes, red deserts stretching endlessly beneath a salmon-colored sky. The air there is 95% carbon dioxide, so thin that a single gust of wind carries more dust than pressure. And yet, those winds shape the planet's face. Dust devils twist across the plains like ghostly dancers spiraling hundreds of feet into the air. Every few years, the planet is engulfed by global storms, so vast they can hide the entire world from view. One such storm marked the quiet end of NASA's Opportunity rover in 2018, when the light of the sun disappeared behind a haze of red, and the little explorer fell forever into sleep. Still, Mars is not lifeless. It breathes in its own way, its atmosphere expanding and contracting with the seasons, its frozen carbon dioxide turning to vapor in the summer and refreezing in the winter. Its poles are crowned with caps of ice layers of water and dry ice stacked like ancient pages recording the rhythms of time. Beneath the surface, radar has revealed hints of liquid water locked away in hidden lakes, whispering that Mars may not be as silent as it seems. Every day on Mars lasts about 24.5 hours, just a little longer than on Earth. Its year, however, stretches for nearly twice as long. Seasons come slowly, and when spring returns, thin clouds of ice crystals drift through the air, scattering light in soft hues of peach and pink. Sunsets there are blue, not red, as on Earth, because the fine dust scatters sunlight in the opposite way. When the sun dips low, the sky glows cobalt and fades into copper, a reversal of what we know. If you could stand on the surface, you would see a horizon both familiar and alien distant mountains, blurred by dust rocks, scattered like ancient ruins, the faint gleam of a frozen dawn. Gravity, there is only 1/3 of what we feel on Earth. You could jump higher, walk slower, feel your steps echo softly in the thin air. The temperature, though, would bite an average of 100 degrees below zero, colder than the frost on a winter window. Yet, even in this frozen world, there are traces of warmth, minerals shaped by water clays and salts that tell of rivers long vanished. Billions of years ago, Mars may have been a world of lakes and oceans. Its valleys show patterns of erosion, delta formations, and shorelines now dry as bone. Scientists believe that a thicker atmosphere once wrapped the planet, allowing water to flow freely across its surface. But over time, the solar wind stripped that protection away, carrying its air into space. What remains is a planet caught in memory, one that remembers being alive. The rovers that have visited Mars, Spirit, Opportunity, Curiosity, and Perseverance have become storytellers for this world. Their wheels have carved paths across ancient plains. Their instruments have tasted the dust, and their cameras have watched the blue sunsets fade. Each mission is a heartbeat, each transmission a whisper from another time zone of the cosmos. Perseverance now explores the Jezero crater, a place that once held a lake seeking the chemical traces of what might have been life. The sound of its small wheels over sand is the faint echo of human curiosity, a reminder that even across millions of miles, we reach for connection. Mars has 2 small moons, Phobos and Deimos, irregular cratered bodies that look more like captured asteroids than true satellites. They orbit close, racing across the sky in hours rather than days. From the surface, Phobos would appear to rise and set twice each Martian day, while Deimos moves slowly, taking its time. One day, Phobos will spiral inward and break apart, forming a brief ring of dust before it falls, a faint echo of Saturn's own fading crown. Everything in the solar system, it seems, follows the same quiet rhythm of creation and return. If you listen to recordings taken by NASA's instruments, you can hear the Martian wind, a low, ghostly hum that rises and falls like breathing. It is soft, steady, hypnotic, the sound of dust moving across rock, the whisper of time flowing over stone. Mars speaks in whispers, not words. And though it lies millions of miles away, its voice feels familiar, like the distant echo of our own planet's beginning. The allure of Mars is not only in its mystery, but in its reflection of us. It is Earth's mirror, a reminder of what could have been, or what may one day become. Its landscapes are proof of the delicate balance that sustains life, warmth, water, air protection. Mars lost that balance, and in its stillness, we can see both beauty and warning, not fear, but humility. The universe is vast, and yet every world carries lessons written in dust. Still, Mars invites hope. The same curiosity that sent rovers there now dreams of footsteps of human explorers who will one day walk its plains and build homes beneath its red sky. Even if that dream remains far away, it reminds us of something quiet and eternal. Our need to reach, to explore, to belong somewhere beyond the horizon. As night falls on Mars, the temperature drops swiftly. Frost forms on the rocks, the air freezes and the wind calms. The stars above are sharp and motionless. Phobos races across the heavens like a pale ghost, its shadow trailing silently behind. In that stillness, the planet seems to rest, wrapped in its red dust and ancient memories, waiting for the next sunrise to bring the soft light of the sun again. Mars turns endlessly steady in its orbit, tracing the same path it has followed for billions of years. Though silent, it endures, and in its endurance lies something deeply peaceful. the same patience that shapes mountains, that erases storms, that guides the slow evolution of worlds. Far beyond the dusty plains of Mars, where sunlight grows faint and cold, the outer solar system begins to shimmer with mystery. Here, beneath layers of ice and shadow, the story of water continues, not as rivers or rain, but as oceans sealed away beneath frozen crusts. These are the ocean world's secret realms of liquid water that drift in darkness, orbiting distant giants. In their silence lies possibility, perhaps even the faint pulse of life. The first of these is Europa, one of Jupiter's 4 great moons. From space it glows like a pearl, smooth, pale, and etched with fine lines that stretch for thousands of miles. Those markings are not scars, but cracks, formed as Jupiter's immense gravity flexes the moon's surface. This constant tug of war creates heat deep within, melting the ice below and sustaining a vast global ocean. Scientists believe this ocean contains more water than all of Earth's seas combined, sealed beneath an icy shell miles thick. Beneath that shell, the darkness is complete. No sunlight reaches these depths. No seasons stir its waves. And yet warmth and energy exist there. As Europa's rocky core rubs and shifts under the pull of Jupiter's tides, it generates frictional heat enough to keep the water liquid. Hydrothermal vents may line its seafloor, just as they do on Earth's ocean floors. Vents that release minerals and gases, creating oases where life might thrive. Here, without sunlight, life could feed on chemical energy, just as ancient microbes did long before our skies turned blue. Imagine that silent sea, a place where ice drips from the ceiling like glass stalactites, where plumes of vapor rise through cracks to meet the vacuum of space. In 2012, NASA's Hubble telescope captured faint traces of water vapor erupting from Europa's surface, geysers of mist stretching hundreds of miles high before falling back as frozen rain. Each plume carries whispers from below, a chance to taste the chemistry of an unseen ocean. In the coming years, NASA's Europa Clipper mission will fly close to the moon, scanning its surface and sampling its breath, searching for signs of habitability. Meanwhile, another world far away sings the same quiet song. Enceladus, a small moon of Saturn. Barely 300 miles wide, it should be a frozen, lifeless sphere. And yet, from its south pole, fountains of water and ice spray into space through great cracks known as tiger stripes. These geysers were discovered by the Cassini spacecraft, which flew through their plumes and tasted their contents. What it found astonished scientists: traces of salt, organic molecules, and heat, all ingredients that hint at an ocean below. Beneath Enceladus's icy crust lies a global sea kept warm by tidal forces just like Europa's. Beneath the frozen surface, temperatures rise near its rocky core, allowing water to interact with minerals and release chemical nutrients. In this hidden ocean, the chemistry of life, hydrogen, carbon dioxide, and simple organics may be quietly unfolding. Cassini even detected tiny silica grains, the kind formed when hot water meets rock, just as it does around hydrothermal vents on Earth. If life can exist in darkness, it might already be there, drifting through the deep, unseen currents of a distant moon. Both Europa and Enceladus remind us that warmth and water do not belong only to the inner planets. Life perhaps does not need sunlight, only balance, chemistry, and time. These worlds blur the line between desolation and fertility, between silence and song. Their existence expands the imagination, turning what once seemed improbable into something quietly possible. Beyond them, other icy bodies may also harbor hidden seas. Ganymede, the largest moon in the solar system, holds an ocean buried beneath layers of ice and rock. Callisto may do the same, its ancient surface concealing liquid depths untouched for billions of years. Even far-flung moons like Triton, orbiting Neptune backward and bitterly cold, show evidence of internal heat geysers of nitrogen gas rising into the void. It seems that where there is gravity, there is motion, and where there is motion, there may be warmth. In these distant worlds, the cycle of water continues. Frozen melted, frozen again, echoing the same ancient rhythm that began with the Sunday water, is not just a substance, but a storyteller shaping planets and preserving memory. On Earth, it carved canyons and carried life through time. On Europa and Enceladus, it hides and waits, holding its secrets in stillness. Perhaps one day we will dive into those oceans and listen to their stories firsthand. There is something deeply comforting in knowing that oceans exist even in the dark. It reminds us that the universe, for all its silence, is not empty. It is patient. Life may not always appear where we expect it. It may bloom in the places we cannot yet see. Europa's icy shell and Enceladus's plumes are proof that creation is subtle, that the spark of potential endures long after light fades. To stand on the surface of one of these moons would be to experience serenity in its purest form. Above you, the giant planet would hang enormous in the sky. Jupiter striped in gold and amber, or Saturn encircled by faint silver rings. The sunlight would be weak, barely a pale glow. The ground beneath your feet would crunch with frost, the horizon flat and endless. Yet below that stillness, entire oceans would churn unseen but alive. You would be standing on the roof of an alien sea. As you breathe in this thought, imagine the slow movement of those waters, waves that have never met air tides, that move in darkness, and perhaps small shapes, gliding through the black, following instincts older than any star. Whether life exists there or not, the idea itself brings comfort, that nature seeks expression everywhere, even in silence. The upcoming missions to these worlds, Europa Clipper and one day Enceladus Orbelander, will not simply search for organisms. They will listen for rhythm, for the chemical harmony that precedes life, the echo of something waiting to awaken. Even if no life is found, the search itself is an act of wonder, a gentle reminder that curiosity is the universe's way of dreaming. In the end, Europa and Enceladus are not merely moons. They are mirrors, reflections of the persistence of life's pattern. They show us that warmth can exist without fire, that oceans can thrive without skies, and that creation itself is not limited to the places we call alive. So tonight, as you rest, let your thoughts drift beneath those distant ice shells. Imagine the dark water gliding slowly under pressure, the hum of unseen tides, the timeless balance between gravity and peace. Out there, beneath miles of frozen silence, the story of life may be beginning again, quietly, patiently, beautifully. After wandering through frozen moons and distant seas, the journey drifts homeward toward the one world where the oceans do not hide, where light dances freely upon the surface, and where the sky itself breathes. Earth, the pale blue haven, turns quietly beneath the warmth of the Sunday. Seen from space, it shimmers like a living gem, blue with water, white with clouds, and soft with the thin veil of air that shelters every living thing. Against the blackness of space, it glows not with fire, but with life. For more than 4.5 billion years, the Earth has been shaped by balance. Gravity holds it close to the sun, not too near, not too far within the narrow band. Astronomers call the habitable zone. Here, temperatures allow liquid water to flow, the breath of oxygen to rise, and life to find a rhythm. It is a fragile equilibrium, maintained by countless quiet systems, the rotation of the planet, the tilt of its axis, the invisible pull of its magnetic field. Each one plays its part in the long, slow symphony of survival. From the vacuum of space, the first thing that sets Earth apart is its color, that deep ocean blue. Water covers more than 70% of its surface, forming the vast, interconnected sea that drives weather, temperature, and time itself. The oceans are Earth's lungs, absorbing carbon dioxide, exhaling oxygen, and stirring the atmosphere in endless motion. Within their depths, life began. Every plant, every animal, every human being is a descendant of that ancient ocean. A ripple, carried forward through time. Beneath the surface of those waters, mountains rise and trenches fall, forming the hidden topography of the deep. The Mariana Trench, for example, plunges nearly 7 miles below sea level, deeper than any mountain on land is tall. Down there in perpetual darkness, pressure crushes everything except the most resilient forms of life. Yet even there, tiny organisms thrive, glowing softly, feeding on minerals that seep from volcanic vents. They are reminders that life adapts, even where light has never been. Above the seas, the land shifts in slow motion. The continents drift atop molten rock, carried by the restless movement of plate tectonics. Over eons, they collide and part again, raising mountains, forming islands, and redrawing the face of the planet. The Himalayas, the Andes, and the Rockies, all born of this deep, invisible motion. The ground beneath our feet is not still. It breathes on a timescale too vast for us to feel. This patient motion recycles carbon, renews the crust, and keeps the planet alive. Encasing it all is a fragile atmosphere, a thin film of gases stretching barely 60 miles high. It is a delicate mixture: nitrogen, oxygen, argon, and trace amounts of carbon dioxide and water vapor. Within it, the weather is born: the wind, the clouds, the rain, the snow. Each drop that falls, each breeze that stirs a leaf, is part of a cycle as old as the planet itself. The air is both shield and sustenance, protecting Earth from the harsh radiation of the sun, while carrying the breath of every living thing. The magnetosphere, Earth's invisible guardian, extends far beyond the clouds formed by the movement of molten iron deep within the core. This magnetic field deflects the solar wind, the constant stream of charged particles flowing from the sunday. Without it, the atmosphere would slowly erode, stripped away into space. Instead, it bends and dances, painting the polar skies with ribbons of light, the auroras glowing in green and violet arcs. These curtains of color are the visible signatures of an unseen defense, a reminder that beauty and protection often come from the same source. Life on Earth is woven into a single fabric. From the smallest bacterium to the tallest tree, every living thing shares the same molecular language, DNA. It is an unbroken thread that connects coral reefs to hummingbirds, whales to forests, and us to every organism that ever lived. Even now, new species continue to evolve, adapting to environments from scorching deserts to freezing tundras, from mountain peaks to deep-sea vents. Diversity is the Earth's secret strength, its way of ensuring that no single change can silence its song. And yet life here does not simply exist, it collaborates. Forests breathe for the oceans feed the clouds, and the clouds return as rain. Everything on Earth participates in the same cycle, giving and receiving in turn. The winds that rise above the Pacific may fall days later as rain in South America. The ice that melts from the Arctic will one day nourish the soil of the plains. In this way, the entire planet moves as one organism, a living, breathing sphere, adrift through space. From orbit, astronauts often describe a strange feeling when they first see Earth, a wave of emotion, a quiet recognition of unity. They call it the overview effect. It is the realization that borders vanish from view, that all conflicts dissolve into the same fragile blue. It is seeing home, not as nations or names, but as one luminous body moving through the dark. That view changes people. It reminds us that we are caretakers, not owners, stewards of something infinitely delicate. Earth is not just a planet. It is a memory of what the universe can create when it slows down. While other worlds spin in cold silence, Earth hums with sound wind through leaves, rain on rooftops, waves against shorelines. Each of these noises is a form of heartbeat, the pulse of a living world. At night, the planet glows faintly with human light. Cities twinkling like constellations reversed, stars reflected back toward the sky. Still, for all its movement and complexity, Earth remains calm when seen from afar. From the moon it appears suspended in stillness, spinning gently without sound. That image, the blue marble, captured by Apollo 17, became a symbol of unity, a reminder that we all share one small, beautiful home, adrift in endless night. The Earth doesn't need grandeur to inspire awe. Its quiet presence is enough. Our planet's cycles will continue long after our brief lives have passed. The tides will rise and fall. The continents will shift. The stars will fade and reappear. Yet for now, we are here conscious within this vast and gentle system. To be alive on Earth is to be part of something impossibly rare, a self-sustaining miracle in a universe mostly silent and still. The more we learn about other worlds, the more extraordinary Earth becomes. Venus swelters under its clouds of acid. Mars shivers in its dry cold. Saturn's moons hide their oceans in shadow. Only here, for reasons shaped by distance, chemistry, and chance, does light meet water and air meet warmth in perfect harmony. Here, life sings in 1,000 languages, in 1,000 forms. When you take a breath, you are inhaling the gift of every living thing that came before you. The air in your lungs was once the breath of forests, of oceans, of ancient creatures now turned to dust. The same carbon that moves through your body once flowed through trees, rivers, and clouds. You are not separate from the Earth. You are its continuation, a living echo of its heartbeat. So as night falls and the winds of this world move quietly through trees and waves, remember that you are part of this rhythm. The Earth does not rush, and neither should you. The same light that warms its oceans touches your skin. The same gravity that binds the tides holds you gently in place. Everything that sustains this planet sustains you too. And as the Earth turns once more beneath the stars, it whispers in silence, "Be still. You are home." Farther from the calm rhythm of Earth, the solar system begins to twist into strangeness. Here, among the outer and inner worlds alike, the rules bend. Days stretch longer than years, winds roar faster than sound, and sunlight filters through skies the color of brass and midnight. These are the planets of paradox, places where time behaves differently, where beauty hides within extremes, and where the imagination of the universe is on full display. The first of these is Venus, Earth's twin in size, but its opposite in spirit. From space, it gleams with a soft golden glow, a vision of serenity. Yet beneath its clouds, the truth is more turbulent. The atmosphere of Venus is a dense ocean of carbon dioxide, pressing down with the weight of nearly 100 Earth atmospheres. Temperatures on the surface reach over 800 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt lead. The clouds that veil the planet shimmer with sulfuric acid, reflecting sunlight in a perpetual blinding haze. And yet, for all its hostility, Venus remains mesmerizing, a world of quiet, burning light. What makes Venus stranger still is its sense of time. It rotates backward, spinning from east to west, the opposite of most planets. And it does so with incredible slowness. One day on Venus lasts longer than an entire year. From the surface, the sun would rise in the west and set in the east, crawling across the sky, in a sky thick with golden fog. To stand there would be to witness time unfold differently, a place where day and night blur together in endless twilight. Venus's past, though, may have been gentle. Billions of years ago, scientists believe it once had oceans, perhaps even a mild climate. But as the sun grew brighter, Venus's heat rose and water evaporated into the sky. The thickening atmosphere trapped heat, and the greenhouse effect spiraled out of control, transforming it into the inferno it is today. Still, there is poetry in this tragedy. A planet that once might have been alive now shrouded in its own memories. Moving inward, closer to the sun, we find Mercury, the smallest of all planets and the swiftest. It races around the sun in just 88 Earth days, spinning so slowly that its days last for weeks. Mercury's surface is a land of extremes, scorching to 800 degrees by day, plummeting to 300 below zero by night. Without a true atmosphere, it is a world of silence. Craters spread across its surface like frozen ripples from ancient impacts, unchanged for billions of years. And yet even here, there are surprises. In the shadows of deep craters near Mercury's poles, where sunlight never reaches, lies something unexpected: ice. Hidden water frozen in perpetual darkness, preserved by cold and time. Mercury's surface glows faintly in the sunlight, scarred and old. Its sky is black, even at noon. If you could stand there, the sun would appear 3 times larger than it does from Earth, blazing fiercely, yet offering no air to carry its warmth. It is a world that exists at the edge of what is possible, a planet that endures motionless without complaint. And then, far beyond the sun's warmth, where light turns thin and blue, lie Uranus and Neptune, the ice giants. They are cousins in composition, made of hydrogen, helium, and traces of methane that give them their ethereal hues. Uranus glows in soft turquoise, Neptune in deep sapphire, like distant lanterns adrift in the dark. But what makes these planets so wondrous is not just their color, but their character. Uranus, for reasons still mysterious, spins on its side. Its axis tilts nearly 90 degrees, as if the planet has fallen over. Some believe a colossal collision long ago knocked it askew. Whatever the cause, this tilt gives Uranus the strangest of seasons. For 21 Earth years at a time, one pole faces the sun, continuously bathed in endless daylight, while the other lies in darkness. Then slowly they switch. To live there would mean a day that lasts decades, and a night just as long. Despite this, Uranus remains peaceful in appearance. Its clouds drift in pale bands, its storms soft and slow. The planet's magnetic field, however, is just as tilted, offset by nearly 60 degrees from its axis. This means its auroras dance, unpredictably wrapping around the planet like luminous ribbons that shimmer wherever the solar wind finds a way in. It is a quiet kind of chaos, an elegance born of imbalance. Neptune, the farthest major planet, is a world of wind and deep blue storms. Its atmosphere is made of hydrogen, helium, and methane, but it is the winds that define it the fastest in the solar system, reaching speeds of over 1,300 miles per hour. These storms form vast, dark spots that appear and vanish like passing shadows. Yet despite such power, Neptune remains a tranquil presence, its motions graceful from afar. its color soothing as twilight. Scientists have discovered that deep within Neptune's interior, where pressure grows immense carbon atoms, may be squeezed into diamond rain. Imagine it, endless storms, where jewels fall from the clouds, tumbling into seas of gas melting and reforming in the heat below. The idea sounds like myth, yet it is grounded in physics. The universe, it seems, never loses its sense of artistry. To look at Uranus and Neptune is to peer into the boundary between known and unknown. Beyond them lies the Kuiper Belt, the realm of icy fragments and dwarf planets, and beyond that, the true edge of the solar system. But here at this distance, sunlight takes hours to arrive, and time moves slowly. The warmth of the sun is only a memory, faint and gentle. These outer planets drift like sleepy giants, their orbits serene, their hearts quiet. Each of these worlds, Venus with its backward spin, Mercury with its frozen shadows, Uranus with its sideways tilt, and Neptune with its diamond storms, reminds us of how diverse creation can be. The universe repeats patterns, but never perfectly. Every planet carries a unique melody in the grand symphony of motion. Together they form the harmonies that balance the solar system, each one a note of wonder and strangeness, together composing something whole. If you could float among them, drifting in silence, you would feel a sense of peace, not because these worlds are calm, but because they are constant. They are what they are, entirely and unapologetically. They do not change to be understood. They simply exist, turning slowly, reflecting the light of a distant Sunday. As the spacecraft Voyager once captured the light that reaches even Neptune, still carries warmth. A warmth not of temperature, but of connection. It is the same light that touches your face on Earth, softened by distance, stretched across billions of miles. That same light ties all the planets together, a single thread, woven through cold and fire, through chaos and grace. So as you rest in this quiet moment, let your imagination wander through those distant skies. Think of Venus's endless dawn, Mercury's silent ice, Uranus's tilted calm, Neptune's diamond storms. They are all parts of one great design, the universe exploring itself through endless variation. Between the great planets and the edges of sunlight lies a quiet family of travelers, smaller worlds, drifting companions, and icy wanderers bound by gravity's patient hand. They are the moons, asteroids, comets, and dwarf planets, the many children of the Sunday. Each moves at its own pace in its own path, yet all share the same center, the same origin. Together, they form the soft music of the solar system, a constellation of motion and memory. The most famous of these companions orbit the gas giants. Jupiter alone holds more than 90 known moons, each unique in color, texture, and rhythm. The largest, Ganymede, Callisto, Europa, and Io, form a miniature solar system of their own, orbiting in perfect resonance. Ganymede, the largest moon in the entire solar system, is even bigger than Mercury. Its surface is scarred with ancient ice ridges and dark plains, silent witnesses to billions of years of change. Beneath its crust, like Europa, it may hide a vast subsurface ocean, an entire sea sealed beneath frozen stone. Io, the innermost of Jupiter's moons, is a world of fire. It is the most volcanically active body in the solar system, its surface constantly reshaped by eruptions, so powerful they can be seen from space. The molten rivers that flow across its plains glow in shades of orange and gold, a painting of heat against a black sky. Yet even this chaos serves a purpose. The gravitational pull of Jupiter and its neighboring moons stretches Io's interior like taffy, generating heat that powers its endless renewal. Through tension and motion, destruction becomes creation. Callisto, on the other hand, drifts in quiet contrast, a frozen relic, untouched by time. Its cratered surface has remained unchanged for billions of years, preserving a record of the early solar system. It is a world of stillness, an ancient mirror reflecting the past. Together, these moons tell a story of balance of fire and ice silence and song chaos, and calm, all orbiting one giant whose gravity binds their fates. Saturn's moons are no less enchanting. Titan, the largest, is a world with a thick orange atmosphere and weather of its own. Its clouds rain liquid methane, filling rivers and lakes that glitter faintly in the weak sunlight. To stand on Titan would be to watch golden droplets fall from an orange sky, to see distant hills shrouded in haze, and to breathe air heavy and slow. It is cold, nearly 300 degrees below zero, yet it moves with lifelike rhythms. Its lakes ripple, its winds shift, and its surface changes with the seasons. Titan is the only moon with a true atmosphere, a planet's dream wrapped around a satellite's heart. Then there is Enceladus, small and bright, reflecting nearly all the light that touches it. Beneath its crust lies an ocean of liquid water, warmed by Saturn's pull. From its south pole, geysers burst forth, sending plumes of vapor and ice into space. These plumes feed Saturn's faint E-ring, proof that even the smallest moons can shape something vast. Each eruption is a whisper of the deep, a signal that somewhere beneath the ice warmth and chemistry continue their slow dance. Beyond Saturn, Neptune holds Triton, a captured wanderer that orbits backward, defying the usual direction of motion. It may once have been part of the Kuiper belt drawn inward long ago. Now, it circles Neptune in frozen rebellion. Its surface, active with geysers of nitrogen gas. Over time, gravity will pull Triton closer until it breaks apart, forming a ring system of its own. Another fleeting masterpiece in the endless cycle of creation and decay. Between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter stretches the asteroid belt, a region filled with remnants of the solar system's earliest days. Millions of rocky fragments drift there, some no larger than pebbles, others hundreds of miles across. Ceres, the largest, is a dwarf planet, round-layered, and possibly home to pockets of briny water beneath its crust. Its surface glows faintly, with salt deposits shimmering like frost in sunlight. Each asteroid is a fragment of what might have been a planet that never formed, frozen mid-story. Even farther out beyond Neptune lies the Kuiper belt, a vast icy frontier. Here dwell the dwarf planets, Pluto, Eris, Haumea, and Make, spinning slowly in the dim twilight. Pluto, once considered the 9th planet, remains one of the most poetic places in the solar system. When NASA's New Horizons spacecraft flew past it in 2015, it revealed a world far more dynamic than anyone expected. Mountains of water, ice plains of frozen nitrogen, and a heart-shaped glacier stretching hundreds of miles wide. That heart, a natural basin named Tumbor Regio, became a symbol of endurance and tenderness, a reminder that even at the edge of darkness, beauty endures. The Kuiper belt marks the boundary of the Sun's known influence, but its story continues through comets, icy messengers that travel from the farthest reaches inward. They are the wanderers of the solar system, carrying with them the raw ingredients of life: water, carbon, and dust. As a comet approaches the Sun, its ice begins to sublimate, creating a glowing coma and a streaming tail that always points away from the Sun, sculpted by the solar wind. For a brief time, it becomes a beacon in the night sky, a flare of ancient material returning to light. Each comet's journey is a cycle of departure and return. Some complete their orbits in a few decades. Others take thousands of years. Halley's Comet. The most famous visits Earth's skies every 76 years. A predictable visitor that has watched civilizations rise and fall. It has seen the fires of discovery, the birth of science, and the quiet of modern skies. When it next returns, long after many of us are gone, it will still carry the same dust that formed before the Earth itself. All these smaller bodies, moons, asteroids, comets, and dwarf planets, remind us that the solar system is not static. It is alive with movement, with stories still unfolding. They are the keepers of time, preserving the earliest materials of creation, while participating in the present. Each orbit, each revolution, is another verse in the same song. Together they show that no world exists in isolation. Every fragment, every drop of water or grain of ice belongs to the same vast harmony. If you could see the solar system from above, it would appear as a great clockwork of motion planets, circling the sun moons, circling the planets' comets, tracing long ellipses through the dark. Every path is balanced, every motion connected. Gravity is the composer light, the melody, and time the rhythm. It is an orchestra that never ends, performing across eternity in silence. To think of these countless wanderers is to feel both small and infinite, small in scale, yet infinite in connection. We too are wanderers of a kind, made from the same dust, drawn by the same light. The carbon in our bodies once drifted through comets. The iron in our blood once pulsed in ancient stars. We are not apart from this family of worlds. We are among them. So, as you rest now, imagine them, the moons glowing faintly in reflected light, the asteroids turning slowly through space, the comets arching across the heavens. Each one follows its path faithfully, never rushing, never lost. And together they remind us that even in vastness, there is kinship, a quiet unity among all things that circle the Sunday. There is a place where the sun begins to fade, where its warmth still glows, but its breath grows thin, where the solar wind, that invisible river of charged particles, meets the vast and quiet sea between the stars. This is the edge of the solar system, a boundary not marked by light or color, but by silence. Here, two human-made travelers continue their endless journey. Outward Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, the messengers of our world. Launched in the late 1972, these twin spacecraft were built for discovery, their golden discs glinting faintly as they left Earth behind. They began their voyage by visiting the outer planets, first Jupiter, then Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune, sending back images that revealed worlds humanity had never seen in such detail. They showed us volcanic Io, the braided rings of Saturn, the blue storms of Neptune. Each picture was a new page in the solar system's autobiography written in light. Yet, when their planetary mission ended, the Voyagers did not stop. They kept going past Pluto's orbit into the thin, cold frontier, where sunlight weakens and the solar wind begins to slow. The edge of this wind is called the heliopause, the outermost border of the sun's influence, where its magnetic field no longer dominates. Beyond it lies interstellar space, the great dark ocean between stars. It is here, more than 14 billion miles from home, that Voyager 1 now drifts, followed by its twin. Even now, decades after launch, both spacecraft still whisper faintly back to Earth. The signals take over 20 hours to arrive, a thread of radio waves stretched across the emptiness, carrying data from beyond the sun's reach. They measure particles, magnetic fields, and cosmic rays, helping us understand what lies beyond the bubble of our solar system. In doing so, they have crossed a threshold no other human creation ever has. Voyager 1, launched from a small blue world, is now an interstellar traveler. On board each Voyager is a message, a golden record crafted in copper and plated in gold, designed to last for 1 billion years. It carries the sounds and images of Earth greetings in 55 languages, the laughter of a child, the hum of crickets, the rush of wind, and the music of Bach and Chuck Berry. There are photographs of mountains, cities, trees, and faces, a portrait of a world in motion, meant for any beings that might one day find it. It is humanity's handshake across the void, a reminder that even in our smallness we reach for connection. Carl Sagan, who helped design the record, once described it as a bottle cast into the cosmic ocean. And indeed, that is what it is. A gesture of hope, of curiosity, of belonging, for perhaps one day somewhere, far beyond the Milky Way's edge, another intelligence may stumble upon it, play its grooves, and hear our world's heartbeat. Even if that never happens, the act of sending it remains profoundly human, a testament to our need to leave a trace. To think of the Voyagers now is to feel both wonder and tenderness. They were not meant to live this long, yet they persist, silent, aging machines powered by the slow decay of plutonium, still blinking in the dark. Their cameras have been turned off to save power, their instruments pared down to the barest essentials. And still, they move slowly, gently, endlessly propelled, not by engines but by inertia, gliding outward like leaves carried by a cosmic wind. Each Voyager carries the memory of the world it left behind. The dust on its antenna once floated in Earth's air. The metal in its frame was mined from Earth's crust. They are pieces of our planet, now traveling among the stars. When Voyager 1 turned its camera back toward Earth in 1990, it captured what has become one of the most humbling images in history, the pale blue dot. In that photograph, taken from nearly 4 billion miles away, our entire planet appears as a single pixel of light, suspended in a sunbeam. Sagan's reflection on that image still resonates. That's here. That's home. That's us. Every person who has ever lived, every war, every joy, every dream happened on that tiny point of light. To see it from such distance is to realize how small and how precious we truly are. The Voyagers in their endless flight carry that perspective with them, a constant reminder that even from the edge of the unknown, we are never alone. As they drift farther, they will eventually lose contact. Their power will fade. Their transmitters will go silent, and their signals will vanish into the background hum of the cosmos. But their motion will continue. In tens of thousands of years, they will pass near other stars. Perhaps Gliese 445. Perhaps another yet uncharted, moving quietly, carrying their golden messages like lanterns in the dark. Long after Earth's mountains have shifted and its seas have changed, the Voyagers will still be out there, bearing our story. At the edge of sunlight, time stretches differently. There is no sunrise, no shadow, only the faint glow of distant stars. The boundary between our solar system and interstellar space is not a wall, but a gentle blending, the heliosphere, fading into the greater cosmic sea. Within that gradient, dust and gas drift, like fog, ancient and slow. The same materials that once formed the sun now fill the space beyond it, waiting perhaps to seed new stars one day. Even here, the sun's light continues to travel, a soft echo spreading outward, becoming dimmer with each mile, yet never truly stopping. It is as though the solar system exhales into the galaxy its breath, mingling with the breath of others. The voyagers sail upon that breath carried by it into infinity. They are small, but their purpose is vast. They remind us that exploration is not conquest, it is communion. And so at this edge, we pause, we listen. Beyond this point, the maps end. The silence stretches beyond measure, yet within that silence, there is peace. The same peace that fills a night sky, the same stillness that hums between the stars. The voyagers will continue on long after our voices fade, long after our sun itself grows dim, and in that enduring journey lies something sacred proof that curiosity outlives us all. If you close your eyes now, you can almost hear it, the faint signal, the whisper of a machine, older than memory, calling softly across the dark. We are here. We were here. We reached for the stars, and we are still reaching. Everywhere the sun has ever shone, it has left a trace, a golden thread stretching across the dark. That light, invisible, yet constant, ties everything in the solar system together. It binds planets to orbits, moons to planets, and us to home. Every sunrise, every reflection in a drop of water is part of the same endless conversation between light and gravity, energy and time. We are woven into it, threads of the same luminous fabric that holds the universe together. Light is not merely brightness, it is history in motion. When you look at the sun, you see it not as it is now, but as it was 8 minutes ago, the time it takes for its photons to travel 93 million miles through space and fall gently upon your skin. The light from Jupiter takes nearly 45 minutes to reach us from Pluto, more than 5 hours, and from the nearest star beyond our sun over 4 years. In this way, light is both messenger and memory, a record of everything that ever happened, still streaming through the cosmos. The universe, it seems, does not truly forget. Every moment radiates outward at the speed of light, never ceasing, never looking back. Somewhere far from here, the image of your first sunrise still travels outward, expanding into infinity. The same is true for the voyagers, the planets, the early Earth, all of them glowing faintly, their light stretching ever farther into the night. When astronomers look into deep space, they are looking backward in time. Every telescope is a time machine gathering the ancient glow of galaxies as they were billions of years ago. To study the stars is to read the autobiography of creation written in light. Gravity, meanwhile, is the thread that keeps that story coherent. It is the invisible hand that shaped everything: the sun's formation, the planet's orbits, the movement of comets, even the curve of time itself. Einstein showed us that gravity is not a force in the traditional sense, but the bending of space and time by mass. The sun, immense and steady, warps the very fabric of the universe around it, creating a well in which the planets fall endlessly, never hitting, never escaping, always moving in perfect balance. Every step you take, every orbit of the moon follows that same curvature of space-time. Through gravity and light, the universe becomes a tapestry of motion. Time flows differently in different places, slower near massive bodies, faster in the emptiness between. On Earth, a second is not the same as a second near Jupiter or near the surface of the Sunday. The universe breathes in time, expanding and contracting through relativity. This is not just theory. It is the rhythm of existence itself. And yet, even in this grand dance, everything remains connected, as if the cosmos, in all its vastness, were holding hands with itself. When light meets matter, it creates warmth. When gravity meets time, it creates rhythm. Between the two lies everything we know: life, motion, memory, and meaning. Our planet spins through both forces, simultaneously bathed in light tethered by gravity pulsing through time. Every moment you live is a crossing point between these cosmic currents. Every heartbeat, every breath, is part of a universal clock that began ticking when the first stars were born. It is humbling to realize that everything around us, every mountain, cloud, and river exists because of light's patience and gravity's pull. Without them, the solar system would not hold together. Planets would drift into darkness, their warmth fading. Without the sun's light, photosynthesis would cease. Oxygen would vanish, and the ocean's surface would turn to ice. And yet these forces do not demand. They simply are. They work in silence, in balance, in peace, the same way the universe always has. Every photon of sunlight carries a small piece of time's story. Some of that light reflects off Earth's atmosphere, scattering into the soft blues of our sky. Some filters through clouds and leaves, shimmering across the skin of rivers. Some travels deep into the ocean, warming creatures that have never seen the Sunday. And some leaves Earth, entirely bouncing off the moon or spacecraft, or the faint mist of comets continuing its journey outward, carrying with it the fingerprint of our existence. In a way, we too are made of light's remnants. The atoms that form our bodies were forged in stars that lived and died long before the Earth formed. When those ancient suns exploded, they scattered the elements of life across the galaxy: carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, iron. Those particles drifted for billions of years before coalescing into this world, into oceans, into us. We are the universe, made aware of itself. Light, given the power to think. Gravity, given the ability to feel. If you could see the solar system as it truly is, not through distances or numbers, but through time, you would see spirals of light overlapping like waves on a pond. Each orbit of a planet leaves behind a faint trail of brightness circling endlessly. The sun's rays spreading outward illuminate those paths for a moment, then move on, lighting others. Together, they create a slow, shimmering heartbeat, the rhythm of the solar system itself. From the smallest grain of dust to the mightiest planet, everything is part of that rhythm. Even the emptiness between worlds is not empty. It hums with particles, energy, and possibility. Light continues to travel through it, carrying messages older than memory. Somewhere out there, the first light of the sun still expands, reaching places we have never imagined. The threads of light and time weave onward, infinite and unbroken. To think of this is to feel both weight and release, the weight of knowing how vast it all is, and the release that comes from realizing we belong to it. You are not outside the flow of time. You are inside it. Every moment you live adds another thread to the cosmic tapestry. Every act of kindness, every glance at the night sky ripples outward, joining the light that has been traveling since the beginning. And so when you gaze at the stars tonight, remember, you are not looking at something distant. You are looking through time, through memory, through countless layers of connection that stretch from your heartbeat to the edge of creation. The starlight, touching your eyes tonight, began its journey long before you were born. And one day, long after you are gone, the light you reflect, the warmth you give, will continue its own quiet journey through the dark. The universe in its patience holds every story within it. Every photon, every atom, every orbit is a chapter in an endless book. And in this grand, glowing narrative, we are both readers and words. Light, remembering itself through time. At last, the journey comes full circle. From the first sparks of the sun's birth to the frozen oceans of distant moons, from the golden rings of Saturn to the fading trails of the voyagers, All paths now lead home. Home not as a place upon the earth, but as a feeling that exists within the rhythm of the cosmos. The solar system is not something beyond us. It is something we are part of, something that flows through us with every breath. We are made of its dust, moved by its light, and held gently within its gravity. When we gaze at the night sky, we are not looking out, we are looking back. Each star, each planet, each faint shimmer of motion is a reflection of our own beginnings. The same processes that forged the sun still burn in distant galaxies. The same particles that drifted through the early solar system now form the cells in our bodies, the oceans we swim in, the clouds that rain upon the earth. The universe, vast and unknowable, carries within it the same patterns of creation and renewal that shape our everyday. Our world drifts in quiet motion, turning softly beneath the warmth of its star. From above it glows blue and white oceans, breathing wind, swirling clouds, whispering across continents. Every sunrise is a beginning, every sunset a remembrance. And though we measure time in years and centuries, the planet measures it in rhythms, the slow pulse of tides, the turning of seasons, the breathing of forests. To be alive here in this moment is to share in that rhythm, to move in harmony with something immeasurable and ancient. The solar system, for all its vastness, is a single living pattern, a balance of motion and stillness. Planets move not in chaos but in cooperation, each one shaped by the gravity of all the others. Moons dance around their worlds. Comets wander and return. Even dust follows invisible paths. Nothing is wasted, nothing is alone. Every orbit, every collision, every gleam of light contributes to the silent architecture of harmony. If you listen closely, not with ears, but with awareness, you can almost hear it, the hum of connection, the quiet breath of the cosmos. And in that hum we exist. Humanity, fragile and curious, has built its awareness from stardust. We have sent machines across billions of miles, touched the moon, and glimpsed the edges of sunlight itself. Yet, for all our exploration, the greatest discovery remains the simplest, that everything we have ever known is part of one continuous story. The same story that began before time had a name, and that will continue long after our chapter ends. Light, gravity, and time. These are the instruments of the cosmic symphony. But life is its song. On Earth, that song takes the form of wind in the grass of birds at dawn, of the beating of your own heart. The atoms that pulse within you vibrate with the same resonance as the stars. You are not separate from the universe. You are its way of seeing itself, of hearing its own echo. Perhaps that is why the night sky moves us so deeply. It is not a foreign view, but a mirror. In the stars, we see memory. In the planets, we see motion. And in the darkness between them, we see possibility. To stare upward is to remember what we are made of: energy that once burned in a star, now given voice and thought. The cosmos does not watch us from afar. It flows through us quietly, eternally. Some nights when the sky is clear, and still you can almost feel the movement of it all. The slow drift of the earth beneath your feet. The invisible arc of the moon. The breath of the wind that once touched the edge of space. Everything is moving, even in silence. And within that motion there is peace. Not the peace of stillness, but the peace of belonging. We live within a masterpiece painted in motion. Our sun is just one brushstroke in a galaxy of 400 billion stars, each with its own story, its own family of worlds. Yet somehow, amidst that incomprehensible scale, we found a home. A place where water flows, where light breathes, where thought exists. That is no small miracle. And to simply exist within it, to breathe, to wonder, to dream, is enough. The same light that glows upon the icy rings of Saturn shines upon your face. The same gravity that holds Neptune in orbit holds your feet upon the ground. The same cosmic dust that drifts through interstellar space beats within your heart. The universe is not distant. It is intimate, touching you, surrounding you, speaking through you. As we drift through this moment together, imagine yourself suspended among the stars, weightless, quiet, still. Below you, Earth turns like a glowing lantern. Beyond you, Jupiter gleams, Saturn's rings shimmer, Neptune glows faintly blue. The sun burns far away, its light stretched thin but unbroken. Every world, every fragment, every spark of light moves in balance, each one contributing to the great stillness that fills the night. It is here in this stillness that understanding arrives, not as knowledge but as peace. We do not need to grasp the entire cosmos to belong to it. We already do. To be alive is to be part of its endless unfolding, to be both observer and participant in the dance of time. You are as necessary to the universe as the stars are to the night. And now, as our journey through the solar system draws to a close, let us rest in gratitude. Gratitude for the sun that gives us light, for the earth that holds us gently, for the moon that guides our tides and dreams, for the stars that remind us of how vast and beautiful existence can be. The planets will continue to orbit. The stars will continue to burn. The universe will continue to breathe. And we, small, curious, luminous, will continue to wonder. So breathe deeply and let your thoughts drift outward, beyond clouds, beyond gravity, beyond time itself. Somewhere in that stillness, the light of the sun continues to travel. The voyagers continue their flight, and the story of the cosmos continues to unfold, endlessly, patiently, beautifully. And now, as the universe settles once more into quiet balance, may your thoughts drift gently among the stars. The solar system continues its soft rotation, unhurried, unchanged. The sun still burns at the center, the planets still drift in balance, and far away the voyagers still whisper across the dark. Somewhere beyond the reach of our sight, their golden records spin in silence, carrying the heartbeat of home. Everything you've heard tonight, the warmth of the sun, the dance of the planets, the breath of time, continues perfectly, whether we watch or not. As you breathe, remember that you belong to that same harmony. The atoms in your body were born from stars. The rhythm of your heart echoes the rhythm of the worlds. You are not separate from the universe. You are its reflection, its listener, its dream. So, rest now, knowing that while you sleep, the planets will keep turning, the light will keep traveling, and the cosmos will keep breathing in its quiet, endless peace. Let curiosity guide your dreams. There's always more to explore among the stars.